Welcome back to The Bible is Art, where we explore the literary artistry of the Bible. And this week, we're going to talk about the symbolism and the road to Emmaus in the last chapter of Luke 24. There are some strange things in the story of the road to Emmaus. So here's what happens. After the disciples discover the empty tomb, the scene cuts to a journey, a travel scene where two disciples are walking from Jerusalem to a town called Emmaus. And while they're talking, Jesus shows up and starts talking to them. And this is the first time we've seen him since being resurrected. But Jesus hides his identity, so the disciples he's talking to don't know who he is. And it's in this conversation that we get the conflict in this episode. That is, they thought Jesus failed. But the resolution to this conflict comes in two stages: an instruction and then a meal. So first, Jesus explains why the things that happen, far from being signs of failure, were actually signs of his success. But even though he explains these things, they still don't know that it's Jesus who's speaking to them. His identity is not yet revealed. So why all this hiding his identity? That's strange. Then they arrive at Emmaus, and the text says that Jesus acted as if he were going farther. That is, he intended to stay, but he pretended like he wasn't. Why? That's strange. Well, they urge him to stay, and he does. He sits down to eat dinner, takes bread, blesses it, breaks it, gives it to them. And it is at that moment that the text says that their eyes were open and they recognized him. And he vanished from their sight. That's what it says. Once again, this is strange. What's going on? Well, a journey narrative is perhaps the most universal type of story. And you could argue that every story is a journey narrative. Every story is about a person that starts somewhere and ends up someplace else. That is, there's a transformation from one place to another place. And those external transformations are mirrored by the internal transformations of the characters. So those internal transformations are symbolized by a physical journey. And indeed, it will be the actions and episodes on the journey that affect the interior journey, the interior transformation. And Jesus in Luke has a long journey narrative. It's actually a very tight narrative structured as a chiasm. Jesus' journey to Jerusalem. Now, just as Jesus' journey will be a crystallization, a microcosm of the journey, the mission of his life, so the journey of the disciples will be a microcosm of the journey of all the disciples of Christ, the church. Now, what's fascinating about the journey of the disciples is that it's a strangely familiar journey. Let me retell the events of that journey and see if it reminds you of anything. The two disciples are going to Emmaus, a town that means two wells. It's a place of water. It's also a place of breaking of bread, that is their meal. So Emmaus is a place of water and bread. And on their journey to this water bread town, Jesus rebukes them. He teaches them from the scriptures. They then go into the home and have a meal where Jesus breaks bread and then disappears. And it was in the breaking of bread that the narrator tells us that their eyes were opened and they recognized him. Did you catch the secret, the mystery that you've heard before? The journey of the disciples is a liturgical journey. It's a journey of transformation that happens weekly in the church. Our journey is fundamentally and firstly a liturgical journey. And this also makes sense of all the hiding and revealing. The mechanism of revelation in this text is word and sacrament. This text is full of hiding and revealing, halfway knowledge to full knowledge. The two disciples are halfway in their understanding of Jesus and halfway on their journey to Emmaus. We know half of the disciples' names, one named Cleopas and the other is unknown. And this is because this is the journey of the church. We are halfway through our journey. Christ has come first, but he will come again. Indeed, literarily, we are halfway through Luke acts. And the journey of our lives, of the church, is traversed by means of a liturgical journey, instruction in Christ and consumption of Christ, consuming the one who has finished the journey. And that, my friends, is why the Bible is art. Thanks so much for checking out the videos. I really do appreciate it. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/thebibleisart. And I will see you in the next video. Oh yeah, and if you'd like to be notified whenever there's a new video, there's a link down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.